Welcome to Hawks and Lavender Rose, a collaboration dedicated to serving the community through the foundation of love, trust, and advocacy for conscious living. Now, here are your hosts, Jennifer Williams and Shauna Gulbrand.
Welcome!
Hawks and Lavender Rose.
Yay!
I'm Jennifer.
I am Shauna. We are so happy to see you today. Actually, we don't see you, but we're really happy
To
that you're
share
seeing
time
us
with you.
today.
The time.
The time.
Thank you
and
for
the
taking the
space.
time to listen and to
Yeah.
watch and just everything.
Yeah.
We realize that the recording of this episode is going to fall right around Thanksgiving time.
Yes.
Yeah, which brings us to our topic today of gratitude.
Gratitude, giving thanks, being thankful for.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful topic of conversation as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and practice, it goes back to.
I've been thinking about our podcasts about practices.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely will be doing other ones on that
Oh,
topic.
yeah, like that go deeper.
Yeah, it's just like an underlying current theme of practices that runs through my life, and I feel like I'm always talking about practices.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Even just like the consideration of thoughts, that's been a topic of discussion with Josh and I lately. It's just like the way that we perceive things and then pushing the limits of our beliefs a little bit further to incorporate more gratitude and compassion and like, you know, maybe beliefs that we've been hanging on to a little too long and didn't realize it, you know, so bringing in like more of the compassion and gratitude, but compassion has been the theme, so that's not the theme of the show, but gratitude and compassion
But it will be.
but it will be, mark our words.
Because that's something that I'm...
So gratitude, again, it's another broad word. It's not broad, but it is broad. There's a lot of different, I think, intersections of like what is gratitude, how do you incorporate that into a practice, how do you live in gratitude, what is the benefit of gratitude, what does it actually create. So there's a lot of things that we're going to talk about today.
Oh, yes.
And you have
Yes,
a definition, I assume?
Of course I do. Well, gratitude is an inherent quality within all human beings. Let's just be very clear about that. Gratitude is derived from the Latin word gratia. If it was Italian, it would be like gratia, Gratia, which means grace or graciousness. The quality of becoming thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. That was the definition I found. The quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. Wow, and this is like the first time we let May down here.
And she needs to go
and
outside.
she's whining.
She's bored. Maybe this is.
What's the matter, May? You're not grateful?
She's like, listen, bitch.
You ungrateful bitch!
Do you want to let her out?
No, because then she's going to whine to come back in.
Will she whine there or will she go upstairs?
Oh, for God's sakes, I'll just let her
Yeah,
out.
it's okay.
Because honestly, I don't want to hear.
We're so grateful for this puppy.
Oh, you're such a good doggy, even though you bit my tag off.
Skin tag? No.
No, that's gross. That would be really gross.
So did you say, or was it written down, that gratitude is inherent in everyone? Because that's actually an interesting discussion.
I read it somewhere.
Okay, do you believe that?
I think everyone...
Inherent, that means we're born
Yes.
with the ability to cultivate, or we're born, so I guess I would like to hear.
My own personal belief, I want to believe that we're all capable of cultivating gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I do believe that we're all capable of cultivating gratitude. So does that mean that it's inherent? Or does it mean that we have the ability to grow the capacity to have gratitude?
We would like to hear your comments about
Are people born with the ability to, I mean, I'm not sure. Think about it. Like, are we born? What are some,
We don't have the capacity to be grateful when we're a newborn.
right?
Because we don't, well, we know a whole lot, but we don't know anything about human life at that point. And even that idea, the concept, the truth, fact of gratitude.
And I remember when it was introduced to me, I was probably about 14 years old, and it's when Oprah started doing the gratitude journals.
Really?
Yeah. So I started a gratitude journal, and it was write down 3 things each day that you're grateful for.
I was going to talk about that.
Yeah, and I remember at that point in my life, it was a rough time in my life, just writing down, like, I'm grateful for breathing, you know, but it did, that's when my gratitude practice started. I was 14.
I had no concept of gratitude, I don't believe, when I was 14. Maybe I gave thanks for things, but I didn't consciously feel into, I am grateful for this. At least I don't remember doing that.
I don't even remember being able to, so the words, like the practice of writing things down that I was grateful for was definitely a self-help mechanism at that time. So I didn't know, it wasn't taught throughout, like, Oprah's process back then, and I don't know what she does now, but I know she still does a lot with gratitude. That's, like, everything that she does. But, like, to feel gratitude in your body. So I didn't have any concept of what gratitude felt like in my body, and it was just the practice of, survival for me at that point. But it's still interesting. I haven't ever thought about that. So that's 14, I started a gratitude journal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I started my first official journal 10 years ago this November.
Wow.
At 42.
That's pretty
A
awesome.
late bloomer. Gratitude can be applied in the past, present, and future.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. When I think of gratitude that's applied to things in the past, a lot of it are for the challenging things that happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
We forget about that. Some people can forget about that. And I believe that when we're in the throes of a challenging situation in our lives, it's a lot harder to process gratitude, to find that gratitude. For me, in retrospect, it's a lot easier to say, well, even though that was really painful, I am grateful it happened because it led to this.
Yeah. Which I feel like we say often. You and I.
Why am I lost right now?
Because you said we can look back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now say, I'm grateful for this, even though it was a hard time. But look where it led.
Yeah. In the present.
Mm-hmm.
I am grateful that I am able to look at you with a straight face with that peacock on your head.
That's right. Forgot that it was there.
A couple of times I've been sitting here. So Jennifer and I have been having some conversation before we even started recording, and the whole time I'm like, I just want to keep looking up.
Is it moving when I do this?
Yeah,
Hello.
it's very cool.
Shauna got me a peacock today.
A little peacock.
A peacock ornament, so I decided to.
Make it a hairpiece.
Yeah.
I think it looks so good in your hair.
I'm going to leave it when I go see clients later, too.
You definitely.
I'm going to.
We need to keep, here for this. I want something. I'm feeling quite left out right now.
All right. Well, let me be the bearer of gifts for that.
Okay, as long as it's like a clip like that.
Okay. Or something that you can accessorize with.
See, I was trying to make it what I wanted, not what you want to bring.
All right. I will get you a clip. So, present moment gratitude.
Present moment gratitude. I feel like I am in a perpetual state of graciousness or gratitude most days.
Yeah.
I really, really am.
Me too.
I bring up gratitude at the very beginning of every yoga class I teach.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one, I present the question, what are you grateful for today? And so many times I am met with silence.
Mm.
And I say, I'm grateful for silence
The
too.
children of the corn.
I'm grateful for your privacy too.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole point of it is to bring that awareness, right?
Right.
Is what are you grateful for?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like there's like as of late, right, and it sounds like for both of us, there's like this baseline of gratitude that threads through the day. And I know for me, it fluctuates. Sometimes it doesn't fluctuate. It actually doesn't really dip down very low at all. It's always there. And then I have these moments of overwhelming gratitude where I fill up with tears and I'm just like, that's where I feel everything in existence. And I'm like, wow. And that was I think I've talked about this in another episode, but like when I was in India, that was kind of like a culminating point after all the different experiences that I had there with unconditional love and whatever the effect of being in the temples and around Maharaji's energy and all that was overwhelming gratitude for there was just this like expansive link that brought to light like my connection with as far back as possible ancestors to that very, very moment, like on the mountain, at the foothills of the Himalayas. I just remember standing there and feeling all my ancestors in that moment, and just everything in all these lifetimes led to that moment in my life. I had just that gratitude.
It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
But overwhelming in a healing and beautiful way.
Oh, yeah. And like yes, I want to keep going. I want to share this with as many people as possible in whatever way. It doesn't even have to be like a speaking form or anything like that, but just like it's an energy. It's a vibration.
It's definitely a vibration.
But how do you get to gratitude?
Well, we're getting there. I turned to cards now.
We have prompts. All right.
Like, I'm sick of the paper.
You're getting fancy. Shauna's getting fancy.
If any of you want to send me some really fun cards, I'll be glad to use them on the podcast. So just to get back, I have here Thanksgiving is when the colonists gave thanks for their survival and the harvest.
Okay.
Right, so that's why we celebrate Thanksgiving. And as I was writing that, I was thinking, giving thanks for their survival, but they're about to go into a winter.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think Thanksgiving could be like in April? I survived the winter.
Well, they survived the trip, right?
That too.
And then, there's a lot that you could talk about with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, see, I was thinking we would talk about Thanksgiving, and then I was like, yeah, I don't know because I don't really, I question a lot of holidays lately. And
but I'm just
going to leave it at that.
The gathering of gratitude to give thanks for the present moment and what, it does usually revolve around a meal. So even the gratitude of the meal, of the preparation of the meal, the store that it came from, the people that supplied the store, the farmers that supplied like you can just keep it pretty present,
right,
without having to get into like a history of massacre.
Unless you want to. Benefits of gratitude are endless. Endless!
But what are some of the benefits of gratitude?
You experience more positive emotions. You feel more alive. You sleep better. Express more compassion and kindness.
Less worry.
Well, I'm trying to keep it on the positive.
Well, but I feel like...
Yeah, definitely. Stronger immune system. Helps people to connect to something larger than themselves. Mm-hmm. Which you just talked about in India. Another benefit is to relish in good experiences, greater levels of happiness, build stronger relationships. And these are just a few bullet points we have here. But gratitude, a practice of gratitude, is one of the simplest ways to feel better. Mm-hmm. Do you want to feel better? Who wants to feel better? Raise their hand.
Raise their hand. Write a comment with a little hand-raising emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. We want to see those comments.
Which is interesting is I wrote this here again, an inherent quality within human beings. Mm-hmm. So for some reason that really stuck with me. There's nothing bad about the practice of gratitude.
No.
It's only good.
Right. Yeah.
Keep talking to the camera. I'm going to shut this off. Good. Okay. And see if May wants to come in. And this is the last time she's down here. Come on,
Poor
May.
May.
Let's go.
So inherent, I actually would like to hear from the listeners and the viewers about whether or not you think it's inherent. I think that's a good topic, but the more that you say it, then I think it's, all right, so if we have this inherent tree of qualities, then of course gratitude lives on that tree and we can pluck it at any time and rediscover, which I think is what we're doing with everything, is just rediscovering. So I like inherent.
Okay.
You can keep using
Then we're
that.
keeping it.
Not that you asked my permission, but
You know, I had some other notes. I'm learning. I switched to cards and then I forgot some things upstairs. But there are different ways to cultivate gratitude.
yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
And these would be considered
Practices. Ta-da!
that new word. Not new word. Hold on, I want to rewind for a second because you
Sure.
said gratitude, past, present, and future.
Yes. Oh, we didn't talk about the
We didn't
future.
talk about future. So what would that look like?
Being excited about something to come and being grateful to have the opportunity to do something in the future.
Yeah? Is that a question?
Maybe.
So what comes to mind for me is a yoga nidra practice. And in the beginning of and the end of every yoga nidra practice, which is like a guided deep relaxation, is something called a sankalpa, and which is an intention. And you create, like you repeat it 3 times to yourself, and you imagine yourself having and or being that sankalpa, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. And then after that, you feel it in your body and you feel grateful for every moment that led to the manifestation of that sankalpa. So that's like when you're co-creating your life, I feel like gratitude is one of the biggest factoring tools in the fruition of the manifestation, is feeling grateful as if it already exists and feeling that in your body. And the moment that it happens, how will you feel? You know, it's gratitude.
Yep. So let me go back to the classes that I teach for a moment, because when they're in their centering and I then offer them the space to set an intention, I invite them to bring their awareness out into the future, to a time and a place where that intention that they just set has already been manifested, using all of their senses to feel it in every way, to give thanks in advance, and then release it.
Yeah.
And then reflect back on your intentions, though, right? Don't just let it go completely. You have to do have to take some action steps, but
Yeah, which could be part
It's
of your
that-
meditation. And
giving thanks in advance
Yeah.
for it already taking place. I do that. I did it this morning.
yeah, I do it every day.
I was like, thank you.
Yeah,
Now I'm just waiting for it to manifest.
that's right. And you revisit it a little bit every day to keep it energized and the
Yes.
momentum. And
Yes.
it's a whole creation. That's like working with the universal laws.
And I'm grateful for the practice.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for my intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful for acting as if they're already in place.
Yeah. I do a thing at the end of every yoga class where we honor the hearts and wisdom of our, and I always say it 3 times, our many, many, many teachers. And once in a while, I remind the class what that means and what I do. It's like I imagine in my mind that I have a photo album, and it starts with my ancestors, and then it's my parents, and then I try to go through every person that has made an impact on my life, positive or negative, throughout the years that led me to that moment, and gratitude for every one of those teachers, because
Even the hard ones, the challenging ones.
yeah, and they're not, and I say that they're not teachers, all of them,
Right.
They're just people that we've learned from,
Exactly.
yeah, and the gratitude that comes from that, because it shapes who we are.
Yeah. So in regards to cultivating awareness, cultivating gratitude, awareness comes first and foremost. So if you were all to stop right now, I mean, don't stop looking at us or listening to us, but
Or
Just-
maybe it's okay to pause it and do this. little prep.
Yeah, okay, that's actually a really good idea. So take a moment to pause the audio or the video and just look around your environment. See, I had other notes. Look around your environment. What are you grateful for?
Yep.
Just right around you.
You could even open up the little notes app on your phone and type down, just without even almost stream of consciousness, just write the words that come to mind. And start with yourself. Look at your body. Are you wearing clothes? Do you like any of those clothes? How does your hair look today? Did you shower this morning? What did you eat? Are you excited to eat something later? Are you outside? Are you inside? What things are in your environment that you enjoy? Like, you can, if it seems like it's overwhelming to be gratitude for something, to be grateful for something, just pare it down to the simple stuff that you adorn yourself with every day.
It can get overwhelming when I see the when I feel into the big picture of gratitude. If someone was to ask me what I'm grateful for, I would say life and everything that it involves.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that feeling, and I reflect on what you said about when you were in India, it's overwhelming to have that much, or to feel that level of gratitude for everything. And then I need to break it down. Like, I'm so grateful that you still have that cute little peacock on your head. Like, I'm absolutely loving that. I am grateful for the space. I am grateful for our new microphone. And I'm grateful for you, even though you ate that little tag off my new bag.
Look at her eyes, though.
I'm grateful that my dog has green eyes.
I'm grateful for your eyes and that look that you're giving me right now.
She's like, I love you,
so
Jennifer.
Cute.
May practices gratitude every day. She just doesn't verbalize
Grateful for all the technology for us to create this.
Huge.
For our time, for our everything in time and space. If we think about the collaboration, that the melding of what has happened over time and the way that our schedules have shifted for this to even be created. I mean, there is like miracles in gratitude too.
I think we were always destined to do this.
Yeah.
It just didn't come together naturally and organically until this moment in time.
Which is the only way
Exactly.
to go, is to wait. And we've been patient, and that's due to our discipline and commitment to one another.
Exactly. And I'm totally committed to this. For those of you who don't know me directly, I spent 26 years working at the Cambridge Hospital, and I've been out for 3. And I really thought it was going to be
in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
in
Since
Cambridge,
we have listeners
Massachusetts.
and viewers that could be anywhere.
Yes, Cambridge,
Yeah.
Massachusetts. Oh, that reminds me. I had something to read about gratitude, but let me just say this. And you've known about this because I met you right around the time that I was starting to transition out of the Cambridge Hospital
Right.
and into this new life. I really thought it was going to be a lot easier in letting go of the idea of working Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I have been fighting. Instead of just accepting and allowing the fact that the universe has given me time to do this, which fills me with so much passion, I still have these thoughts and ideas that I'm supposed to be working Monday through Friday, and I have to do this certain job, and I have to bring in a certain amount of money. And I'm finally, after 3 years, getting to the point where I am accepting that, no, I don't. This is my new life.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so full of gratitude for being able to have the time to create something like this, because this is what fuels me,
Mm-hmm.
not working in an office.
Well, and that you started this little section with awareness. So even just the awareness to recognize where your life has led you, because that's essentially what happened, because you tried other things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely I've watched you discover things over the past 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
and your life has led you to this moment, and the awareness of that creates gratitude.
Absolutely, it does. Can I share one more awareness I had this week?
Yeah.
Something that I've been fighting. I hear people getting tickets to this and tickets to that, and they go to this concert and that concert. And so every once in a while, I'm like, David, we got to get tickets to something. Feeling like so we live in rural New Hampshire, 35 minutes, 40 minutes from Boston.
Not rural New Hampshire.
Well, compared to the urban life, it is.
Right.
So every time we go down to Boston, I'm miserable.
Oh,
like,
really?
So some of the venues that we go to, the seats are like this big because they're old buildings or whatever, and I'm miserable, and there's so many crowds, and there's lots of noise, and
the drive, and the parking, and the walking, and
everything.
yeah.
I realized this week that that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm not a concert goer. I don't like big crowds unless it's Prince in a small venue in Boston, and that's never going to happen because he's dead.
Right.
But I don't like big crowds. I get overstimulated by noise very easily. So these are things that I knew about myself, but I haven't fully accepted about myself. I've been feeling like we have to go and do all these things and be with these huge groups of people, when in reality, I don't want to a degree. I mean, yes, if something comes up that really interests us, we're going to go.
Yeah.
But I've been pressuring myself, and then I'm pressuring David to, let's go do something because we're supposed to be, right?
Because all these other people are getting tickets and they're happy and they're,
And
the
just
comparison.
that awareness
Yep.
filled me with gratitude that I have finally accepted another part of myself that I've been fighting. And that, I think, could be a topic of conversation for one of our podcasts. I imagine I'm not the only one that does this.
Oh, yeah.
And instead of just accepting, we keep thinking we need to be a different way, when in reality
Well,
we don't.
because you think you're in, it's kind of like Facebook. Everyone looks so happy on Facebook. So then you think, what am I doing wrong?
Nothing.
No. Right.
Well,
I can totally get what you're saying. I feel like what you're saying is that, so what's happening in my brain right now on this topic of gratitude is that, because we mentioned in the beginning, like, how does gratitude happen? How do you cultivate? You can have a specific gratitude practice where you write things down that you're grateful for. You feel it in your body, whether it's present moment or it's something that you're manifesting, or you're working on cultivating gratitude for a challenging time in your past, or whatever it is. But it also sounds like you recognized a way to, what's the word? Embrace your, like, being aligned with
my truth.
your truth, your purpose, or your whatever. Just being more in alignment with what works for you. And that cultivated gratitude.
It sure did.
So it is this kind of a
It's the acceptance.
infinite feedback loop. So it works
Yes.
when you have the awareness, and then you make the changes, and then gratitude comes from that.
Or
and
just
then-
the awareness and then the acceptance. Because I didn't really have to change anything besides accepting the fact
Well,
that...
you changed not getting tickets.
Oh, well, I'll still get tickets to certain things.
But like the grasping,
yes.
thinking that something is going to be fulfilling.
I have to do something, I have to do something.
Right.
When I am truly 100% fulfilled right in my little spot on the world.
Right.
Not that I'm not going to go out anywhere.
No, I know what you mean, though. Being in your own flow versus living in a flow that is not congruent with what is right for you in your relationship, in your lifestyle.
My son Preston announced to David and my other son that WWE was coming to town.
Okay.
And they were all going to go. So David yells out the window to me, "Honey, you want to come with us? We're all going to go." And immediately I was like, wow, this is a golden opportunity to be with my family. And then I went, no, thank you. The three of you can go on your own.
Right.
Because I know what I would be like in that loud auditorium, and I would be ready to lose my mind and run out screaming.
So now it's a golden opportunity for you to have time alone, which is slightly brighter.
I love being alone sometimes.
I do too. I really do. Yeah.
It's nice.
Uh-huh.
It gives me an opportunity to write, which I'm grateful for, or do any sort of soul work.
Silence.
Silence.
Even cleaning. Things just feel different.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
No, not so much. I don't know. There are things
No,
that I
do
enjoy
like
about it.
When the house is clean and I'm like, yeah, this is so good. But the actual doing it, I have to be in the right energy.
Yeah.
I
The motivated.
found an article from Harvard Health Publishing from Harvard Medical School, my friends down there in Cambridge, Massachusetts,
Woot woot.
about research.
That was
And-
a shout out.
Whoop, whoop. Research on gratitude. So I'm just going to read just a little bit here. 2 psychologists, I don't have to mention their names, have done, if you wanted, it's through Harvard Medical School, have done much research on gratitude. In one study, they asked all participants to write a few sentences each week, focusing on particular topics. One group wrote about things they were grateful for that had occurred during the week. A second group wrote about daily irritations or things that had displeased them. And the third wrote about events that had affected them, with no emphasis on being positive or negative. After 10 weeks, those who wrote about gratitude were more optimistic and felt better about their lives. Surprisingly, they also exercised more and had fewer visits to physicians than those who focused on sources of aggravation. How many people complain?
A lot.
And of those people, how often are they practicing gratitude? And if we could all just shift from, because complaining, which is going to be another topic of conversation, is just a non-acceptance of what is. We're not accepting
It's a low
the facts.
vibration. Yeah.
It's low vibration and we complain. But what if we could shift that to gratitude instead?
Right.
Some people are afraid to do that because they do like complaining. I think they get fueled through complaining.
Well, where does your identity stem from?
And it all starts with awareness.
Mm-hmm.
There was something else. Okay. Another leading researcher in this field.
Did it say anything about the third group? That just wrote about stuff that.
I think that was lumped in with those who focused on sources of aggravation. No, but they didn't. They weren't negative or positive. No, it doesn't really say anything
Okay.
about that. Another leading researcher, a psychologist at the University of Pennsylvania, tested the impact of various positive psychology interventions on 411 people, each compared with a controlled assignment of writing about early memories, when their week's assignment was to write and personally deliver a letter of gratitude to someone who had never been properly thanked for his or her kindness. Participants immediately exhibited a huge increase in happiness scores. This impact was greater than that from any other intervention, with benefits lasting for a month.
So that was thinking and acting combined.
Writing
yeah,
a
that's
thank
beautiful.
you
And
letter
delivering it.
and delivering
Yeah.
it.
So that's a beautiful thing.
I did have more notes upstairs.
Feel free to write us a letter.
Yes, write us a letter and thank us.
Gratitude.
Thank us for how vulnerable and how crazy and offbeat we are.
That sounds like I'm telling it. Write us a letter thanking us for serving you. It's horrible.
Don't make me laugh. So ways of cultivating gratitude.
It sounds like writing is very important.
Yeah.
It's a visual practice. You have to think about it.
See, I had more notes upstairs. I'm so mad at myself that I forgot them. One of them was writing a thank you and delivering it and doing a mental thank you. Right?
Yeah.
Seeing the person in your mind's eye and thanking them. A gratitude journal. So one of the things that we learned, it's funny, really, again, in my 40s, during my certification training for becoming what am I? I'm a coach.
Yep.
Was 3 things every day. What are you grateful for?
Yeah.
You have to write that every day. And I did that for a while. I stopped because I mentally practice gratitude all the time, so
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I need to write it down. And my life seems happier.
Although writing has an effect too, you know, putting
Absolutely.
words on paper or typing, but I still think like actual pen and paper. There's something to it.
So when you think about your morning coffee or your morning tea, so one of the things I talked about that I read, and this is why I'm talking about this now, is we take things for granted that we could offer gratitude toward. And the more we find to be grateful, the more things we have to be grateful for. Did I say that right?
The more, yeah. And then it becomes visceral, though. I think that's really important, is bringing it into the body sensation. Feeling the gratitude in your body.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And not just having it in your thinking mind.
When I do that, I just feel this opening. Like I feel my own vastness when I really, truly feel into that energy of gratitude.
So gratitude reminds me a lot of Buddhism and Zen Buddhism, mindfulness. And what you just said, actually, with a morning coffee or morning tea or whatever it is that you consume and enjoy in the morning.
And don't think too much about, right? Because it's such a habit.
Right. And so Thich Nhat Hanh talks about drinking his tea. He's a tea drinker. And looking into your tea and seeing the clouds and the sun and the rain and the harvesters and everything that goes into what it is that you're consuming, and then you take a sip and you hold it in your mouth and you have the same thoughts and the same gratitude of everything that exists. So tea itself is not an actual thing, but everything is interbeing. So I think a practice of that awareness of all the elements that go into every single thing, really, and the gratitude for that and the interbeing. We're all connected. I think gratitude brings the awareness of being connected to all of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the idea of that practice of looking into your drink and seeing all the elements that go into the creation of that. And that's just one thing.
Even before we get to the tea or the coffee, what about our beds, our pillows, our blankets? The fact that we woke up.
Yep.
And that we can get out of bed.
Yep.
A toothbrush, running water,
toothpaste, heat
cinnamon,
when it's cold,
heat.
Yeah.
God, I'm so grateful
Air
for
conditioning.
heat.
Yeah.
It's the things, our feet, our hands, our bodies, anything.
Our sight, our hearing.
Yes,
our
that
taste.
we take for granted.
Our
that-
skin, our aging skin.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You just gave me an extended look on that one.
That's because my skin's not so good.
But
I was in the sun too
still.
much when I was a kid.
But but it serves you every single day.
Yes, it does. Our largest organ in our body. Our
And
skin.
all the things that serve us every single day.
Mhm.
We have a very supported life and existence.
We do, if we open up to
And
it.
luxuries and comfort. And it doesn't have to
Right.
be with all the riches in the world, but just generally speaking, us in particular, and most people that are listening, have a lot of comforts.
When I look around my home, I don't have the highest end of everything in my home. And I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's my home, and I'm grateful I have a home, and I love my home. And will I replace things over time? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I've never really been a huge materialistic person anyway.
Right.
But I'm grateful for what I do have.
Well, you find bits and pieces of stuff everywhere when you explore. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And that's fun.
Yeah.
That's a gratitude practice. I don't know. Everything can be gratitude.
So we're going to ask you to write down 3 things. I actually have
In
3
the
pondering
comments.
questions.
I would like to just see, share with us 3 things you're grateful for. And then if you have questions about it too, always ask.
Yeah, and I have
Yeah.
questions right now.
Okay. let's hear.
Pondering questions, and feel free to answer any of these if you choose to.
Okay.
What are you grateful for that you learned about yourself in the past year?
Oh, jeez.
And I'm saving these cards, so I'm going to actually post these questions
Okay.
on our Facebook group.
A year. It's a long time.
What are you grateful for that you learned about yourself in the past year? I shared with some of you already this morning my awarenesses about myself. What have others done that has benefited your life, even if those people were strangers
Or not great.
or not great, or even if they sucked?
Horrible.
How did they benefit you, right? Because oftentimes we look at people who suck and who are challenging, and when I say that, I can look at myself as sucking and being challenging. What are they teaching you? What benefit came from the interaction or the relationship? And again, this is going back to the whole retrospect. When we're in the middle of a challenging relationship, it might be really hard to find any sense of gratitude and it might not be until after the fact.
Well, and this is also, I feel like I can hear some of the listeners and viewers' thoughts of like, oh, but they feel good about themselves. They like are in this place in life where they can do this, and I'm not there yet. So even if it's awareness that you need to work on cultivating more love for yourself, it's just everything could be a jumping off point. That's all. All these suggestions of ours are just a jumping off point that we started from anyway, and everything is a practice. Every single thing is a practice. So even if you can't find that, like to be grateful for someone that is not so great, just start somewhere where you can start, right?
I'm grateful for the fact that I didn't kill that person.
Okay. Didn't even go there, but
Well, you
I
told
am
me to
grateful.
go somewhere, so I did. I put myself in a situation where I was in a confrontation with someone, and I'm grateful I didn't kill them. I'm grateful I didn't say
all
something
right,
that I
so
regret.
maybe, yeah, turn it toward yourself versus actually trying to feel gratitude for someone that caused you some kind of grief.
Just feel gratitude in whatever way you can. It'll make things easier. And
Break
then-
it down is what I'm saying. Break it down. If you're looking out thinking like that we have it easy, or like that we, whatever, we live a certain way, it doesn't matter. Like that's kind of what I'm saying, is that just start wherever you are and try to feel a little bit something different in your body that has to do with gratitude and love and compassion.
Yeah, feel it in your body.
Feel it in your body.
What do you take for granted that you're grateful for? That was one of the things that we talked about just a few
Well,
minutes
I mean,
ago.
there's so many things, really.
What about your environment? Can you be thankful for?
Oh, so these are some things that I touched on. That's why you were making that face before.
Yeah, so here I was thinking I had my notes upstairs and they were right in front of me the whole time.
Yeah.
They were just in the form of pondering questions.
Does it actually say pondering questions too?
Yes, I wrote pondering questions
I
at the
love
top
it.
of that. And these are going on our Facebook
Just
page.
take a picture of that and post it.
Could do that.
That's cool.
How can you say thank you to others, yourself, to Mother Earth, and to the universe more often?
Create a practice of doing that.
I can't even begin to tell you how often I thank the universe for trees.
Mm.
I am a huge fan of trees. And I'm so grateful for the earth, this beautiful living rock that we live on.
Mm-hmm. You know what I just thought of too is that gratitude in that aspect, like when you really, like, you feel grateful for so much in your life, and then you're grateful for the earth and the trees, and it actually creates, like, I feel like it propels me to want to do more, like to want to serve more and support and create and live more in alignment with what feels like my purpose. So not only can it be fed into and created, and also it can also be created and then feeds. That's part of. So it's very multifaceted.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And you. And me. We're all multifaceted.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like, as a summary, what we have recognized today is that we can create gratitude by starting simple, write 3 things.
Awareness.
Right? Awareness. Feel it in the body. We can also have experiences that bring us to a state of gratitude. When we live in that state of gratitude on a regular basis through our practices and our commitments to things, then that feeds like more of an expansive gratitude to bring outside of ourselves and into the world around us. Yeah?
Yeah, I agree 100% with what you said. These are just these moments of silence.
No,
when
I
go
know.
off for a second.
But I don't know that I've ever I don't think I've ever thought about gratitude in like this kind of depth.
And as far as relationships go, I experience the deepening of relationships through awareness, honesty, and gratitude. So, for example, my son and I had a conversation the other day. he brought something to my attention, and I was very happy that he did that. And then later on that day, I saw him and I said, I'm really grateful for the fact that you said that to me, that you brought that to my attention. And what that did at that moment was deepen our relationship a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was that vulnerability, it was that honesty, and
awareness,
and then that
Gratitude.
expressive gratitude.
that spilled over onto him, because
Yeah.
I'm sure his reaction was,
Oh, it was so positive.
yeah,
Instead of being like, "What do you want?
right.
Get out of my room!"
Well, I see that like with my
I
kids.
love you, Preston.
When I compliment them, or I'm like, you know, there's a conscious effort to recognize something good that they did, or something that they did that was like impressive because they were, you know, leading a certain way, and I point that out and I'm grateful for them, then they, oh yeah, it softens things, it brings in a whole other point of conversation, vulnerability, and love. It deepens love.
Absolutely, it does. So that's what I'm saying. I went back to the benefits of gratitude. They're endless.
Yep.
And there's not one bad thing about a practice of gratitude.
And one thing I would recommend that works really well is when you're in a moment of high stress or high worry, or, you know, whatever that anxiousness, anxiety, is to take a few deep breaths and obviously recognize what you're feeling, but also breathe in gratitude. It really, the practice of that, when you get used to it, it becomes one breath where you can shift. Because there's nothing you can do in that moment. We talked about this before we started recording. There's nothing you can actually do in that moment to control any of the situational stuff, but you sure can change what's happening in your body and in your mind. And gratitude is a surefire way to create that change in your mind and in your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well said. We're going to leave you with, gratitude is one of the simplest ways to feel better.
And we want you to feel better.
And what do you want to do about that? Right? It's up to you to feel better. And you can start with a beautiful practice of gratitude. So take a moment, look around. What are you grateful for?
Or feel inside
Yep.
your breath. Literally, if that's all you can write, is I'm grateful for this breath.
And then underneath that, right, I am grateful for Hawks and Lavender Rose.
And then underneath that, right, I am grateful for Jennifer and Shauna.
And then I am grateful for the ability to laugh and smile. See, it goes on and on and
We
on.
just love you so much.
We
I
love
feel
you.
like my love for our audience has grown tremendously.
Yeah, we've gotten so much feedback already.
Yeah.
Like super, super excited.
People that
Love-
want to talk to us.
Yeah,
and, like,
we're
things
already
are-
people reaching out to us.
Yeah,
and-
so reach out if you, and I don't know, we've been talking about like working with people, you
Yes.
know, in our form, Hawks and Lavender Rose form.
Yep.
In this capacity. So anyway, find us.
Yep,
You
well,
can
hold
find
on.
Shauna.
Wait a minute. We
Okay.
also want to share that we're starting our guest list too. We're going to be having
Yes.
guests on the show soon. So that's
The
coming.
formal
so-
invites for our guests will
Yep.
be going out soon.
Yeah, very soon. Hopefully in the next week. I
I'm
can
going
get
to
my
tell
shit
people where
together.
to find you.
Go ahead. tell people.
ShaunaGullbrand.com. Shauna Gullbrand on all social media platforms. Well, Facebook and Instagram.
I'm on LinkedIn, but I'm not really ever on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So just
Our
find me under my
private
name.
Facebook page, Hawks and Lavender Rose. Is it an and symbol, or is it and on the
I think it's.
Try both.
I don't know.
When you try to find us on SoundCloud and YouTube, I think it's actually and is spelled out, and some people are not, like, they're trying to do the symbol because that's
Okay.
like part of our logo
Yeah.
kind of thing. So try both, the and symbol, or just type out and, you'll find us. SoundCloud, YouTube. For now, we're getting the podcast app, and hopefully it's already fixed by the time you listen to this.
Yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties with
Yeah.
iTunes,
But I think that's
It's all
actually,
good.
I have an idea. So.
Oh.
Anyway,
Boom!
you can find me at JourneyOmYoga.com, Joy Wellness Yoga and Healing Arts on Facebook, and Journey Om Yoga, I believe, on Instagram. So connect and share. Share.
Thank
I
you
love
so much for being here. We love you.
Gratitude.
And we'll see you next week.
Gratitude.
And in the
gratitude.
meantime, practice gratitude.
Yes.
Gratitude all day.
Namaste.
Namaste.